Hello and welcome. Plenty to talk about. Our Melbourne team will join soon because the action is heating up in Melbourne. Gargi and Shomik with me, and two things. This is for us at least. Shomik will join us from here. For us, this is the last show that we are doing out of the Calcutta studio before we all head to Melbourne tonight. But what we are seeing is distasteful. Channel 9 and Channel 7 reporting about Ravindra Jadeja. And look at the headlines. India, some tricks or whatever. You are saying Ravindra Jadeja did not want to answer questions in English. I mean, there has to be a limit to false reporting and nonsense that is being peddled. Secondly, we will also talk about the Champions Trophy schedule, which we have already broken on our platform. The important date is Shubhayan joins us as well. The important date is India Pakistan on 23rd of Feb. Final on 9th of Feb in a neutral venue, possibly Dubai. Pakistan is still suggesting Colombo, but we've got to see. ICC prefers Dubai. So first things first, the Ravindra Jadeja story. If you see Channel 7 reportage, if you see Channel 9 reportage, you will think all hell has broken loose. Shubhan was there. I mean, we have seen this kind of reporting from the Australian media in the past. Bharat Sundarasan said it very well on Twitter, saying this is totally unnecessary. And Bharat is one of the most respected voices of cricket in Australia at the moment in the media fraternity. So some sensible people will talk sense while sensationalist jerks will do what they are. And the only thing is, this is a very different India. India will not back down. We'll give it back to them, in fact, double. That's what will happen. Shubhan, what exactly transpired? I had a chat with the Indian media manager for about 15 odd minutes, but you were there. Tell us exactly what happened, and then we will take the Ravindra Jadeja story forward.
See, Boryada, it was totally uncalled for the entire controversy or what the Australian media is trying to create a controversy from. What happened was the Indian media manager, the Indian team were kind of to hold a press conference, to conduct a press conference 5 days before the match. Generally, we see is on match day -2 and match day -1. There are two press conferences that generally take place. Match day -2 is also not mandatory. Match day -1 is mandatory because of all the broadcast thing. But since it's a 6 day gap, there's a 6 7 day gap, and Indian team is only training for 3 days. The Indian media manager, the media team, entire media team, and the team itself tried to conduct a press conference for the traveling Indian media. The press, the audio of the press conference or the video of the press conference or the entire thing, the transcript was not even shared with the Indian media in general who are present back in home. So it was exclusively for the Indian traveling media. And since it is inside the venue premises, the BCCI needs to take a permission or inform the staff that is present in the Melbourne cricket ground. Which is exactly what the media manager did. He shared the information that Ravindra Jadeja will hold a press conference. So we need a space for say 10 minutes, 10 15 minutes. And we all were informed that on the sidelines of the MCG, Jadeja's press conference will be held. So yeah, it was so far it was all right. Yes, we all were there, and no Australian media was formally invited by the BCCI or the media manager. No one was informed. But since the media manager, the Indian media manager, had informed the staffers in the MCG that they are holding a press conference, it was shared to the Australian media by them, the MCG staff or Cricket Australia staff. So naturally, Channel 9 and Channel 7 were present there, and a couple of other reporters were present there. So they uninvited, they came to the press conference. We or the media manager could have easily informed them that it is exclusively for the traveling Indian media. But since they had also arrived, there was no discrimination at all. They were also welcome to join the press conference. But after that, what happened? I have written it in my piece also, that in the fifth minute mark, the team manager, and the security officer were signaling quite aggressively to the media manager that the team bus is waiting. It was already waiting when Jadeja arrived for the PC, but the other players and support staff also had to get back to the hotel. So the team bus was waiting, but still Jadeja and the media manager patiently waited for another couple of minutes, 3 4 minutes, and conducted an entire 9 minute press conference. And even I wanted to ask a question. A couple of other Indian media guys were wanted to ask the question, but since he was already running late, he was already short of time. It was cut short. 9 minutes is a decent PC for match day -5 or match day -6, whatever it is. After that, sorry for that. After that, what happened? Ravindra Jadeja said, "Okay, thank you." Media manager said, "Okay, thank you." And then the Australian media who were present there, they started to raise a voice. Why not in English? Why not in English? Not a single question in English. It is not mandatory to answer questions in English. And nowhere it was written or communicated that all one or two questions will be taken in English. Jadeja is comfortable with Hindi. Questions were asked because questions were asked in Hindi. Simple as that. There's no questions of language arises at any point. All the questions were asked in Hindi, and hence Jadeja replied all the answers in Hindi. It was simple as that. But they then when we stopped rolling after Jadeja left. So then the media manager took the Australian media to a corner and was trying to explain them. But the camera person of News 9 or the Channel 7, whatever it is, they continued to roll the camera. We even tried to interrupt. We requested them. This is a private conversation. He is trying to clarify things. Do not roll this. And the reporters who went to talk to the media manager, they were holding their mic. We even told them you are with your mic IDs. They said they clearly said that to all of us who were present there that our mic is off. You can see our mic is off. But that was not the case, as we can see in their video report. The mic was clearly on, so that is why the voice of the media manager was captured pretty clearly. And after that, the camera person shamelessly kept on rolling the video. He recorded everything, and you can even see the media manager, Indian media manager, saying in those video reports that this is a private conversation. Stop rolling. And the Australian media present there, they tried to argue that they have every right to film. Yes, they have every right to film. We have every right to film everything inside the stadium premises because Cricket Australia allows that on not on match days, but before match days or after match days. But we don't. When we see certain things that are to be kept confidential, we try to hide that. We try to even back Cricket Australia because ultimately we want cricket to win and not stir a controversy unnecessarily. But that is not what the Australian media is trying to look at clearly. They want controversy. The same thing happened with Virat Kohli at the Melbourne airport when he requested. It is a public place. Yes, they have all the right to film it, but there's something called a request and trying to keep a word. If Virat Kohli, such a star, is coming in front of you and requesting you not to film their kids, why are you trying? Why are you repeatedly capturing the faces of the kids? And clearly, as a father, he has every right to get irritated. And that
Yeah,
is what happened with Kohli, and that is what happened today at the MCG. Despite requesting, despite them saying no, we are not rolling or we are not, our mics are off. They were lying. They were lying. They are liars, absolutely liars. Their cricketers are cheaters on the field, and their journalists are liars or on and off the field.
रोहित ये बताओ सीरीज के शुरू से अगर हम देखें, बिफोर आई गो टू देवाशीष एंड शोमिक एंड गार्गी, first it was told that India is practicing behind closed doors and black cloth is being put and no fans are allowed to watch the Indian practice. Lie number one. It was immediately busted. From there on, continuously we are seeing one lie after another, one lie after another. And I had a chat with what Shubhan just said. I want to put this on record. I had a chat with the Indian media manager and he corroborated the exact same story to me. कि बोला था हमने तो उनको बोला this is a private conversation. Why are you filming this? They said हम ये film नहीं कर रहे हैं, and then they were actually filming it and they've put it out. What is this? What is this rubbish going on? You want to sort of needle Indian players, you want to try and rile them up, you want to provoke, you want to do false reporting. And look at Bharat Sundarasan's tweet. He's put it in context saying this is totally unnecessary. Exactly what it is. Bharat is a respected voice. That's what is coming out of Australia. Pehle din se, from Perth, from saying India is practicing behind closed doors and अफवाह फैला जा रहा था, अभी भी वही चल रहा है. What is going on, Rohit Julan?
बुरेदा वही चीज है जो शुभानंदा ने बताई। पहली चीज तो ये है कि मैं रिक्वेस्ट करना चाहता हूँ उन लोगों से, जस्ट जस्ट टू सेंड क्रिकेट, जो जो लोग क्रिकेट अंडरस्टैंड करते हैं वो रिपोर्टर्स भेजो। सेंड सेंड द गाइज हु नो क्रिकेट, जो लोग क्रिकेट कवर करते हैं, जो लोग लगातार रेगुलर क्रिकेट कवर्स करते हैं। बिकॉज इन सब में क्या था, कुछ ऐसे लोग भी थे जो एक्रेडिटेटेड जर्नलिस्ट नहीं थे। बीसीसीआई मीडिया मैनेजर चाहते तो बहुत इजीली उनको ये कह सकते थे कि यू आर नॉट एक्रेडिटेटेड जर्नलिस्ट, आप बाहर जाइए, आप कवर नहीं कर सकते। बट क्योंकि हर कोई आ रखा था और हर कोई क्रिकेट भी कवर करते होंगे, बट जब उन्होंने देखा कि ठीक है सारी चीजें हैं, तो उन्होंने वहां पर उन्हें रखा। बट हम ये सीरीज की शुरुआत से देख रहे हैं, कुछ ना कुछ ऐसा जो मतलब अननेसेसरी है, उसको इतना ज्यादा हाइप अप दे देना। आज इस खबर का ये कोई खबर नहीं है, ये कोई मामला नहीं है, ये कोई बात नहीं है, लेकिन हम इस पर डिस्कशन कर रहे हैं। पूरा ऑस्ट्रेलियन मीडिया इसको लेकर के, ये चैनल 7, चैनल 9, ये कोई मतलब जिसे हम कहते हैं कोई लेवल 3 चैनल्स नहीं है ना, या कोई सी ग्रेड चैनल्स नहीं है। दे आर बिग नेम्स है, लेकिन इन लोगों को भी अगर ऐसी 3rd ग्रेड स्टोरीज करनी पड़ रही हैं, तो आप समझिए कि इनके पास या तो क्रिकेट स्टोरी का, या तो इनके पास आईक्यू नहीं है कि क्रिकेट स्टोरीज क्या। भाई आप डिस्कशन करो ना कि नेथन मैक्सवेनी को 3 टेस्ट मैचेस के बाद बाहर क्यों निकाल दिया गया, और अगर निकाल दिया गया तो क्या वो आपके सेलेक्टर्स की गलती थी? सैम कॉन्सस कौन है, इस पर बात करो। जसप्रीत बुमराह का तुम्हारे पास क्या जवाब है, इस पर बात करो। अपनी कंडीशंस देने के बाद तुम टेस्ट सीरीज में अभी तक बराबरी पर खड़े हो, इस पर बात करो। तुम बात कर रहे हो कि विराट कोहली ने हमें आंख दिखा दी, जबकि विराट कोहली ने बड़ी पोलाइट कॉन्वर्सेशन करी थी। अब वो पहले वाला विराट कोहली नहीं रह गया भाई। हम तो खुद इस बात से नाराज हैं कि विराट कोहली इतना सॉफ्ट क्यों हो गए हैं। हमें तो वो विराट कोहली चाहिए जो आंख दिखाता था और सामने वाला अपने आप ही खत्म हो जाता था, वहां पे उसका ईगो पूरी तरीके से टूट जाता था। वो लोग बोल रहे हैं कि विराट कोहली गुस्से में जो है वो जर्नलिस्ट को बता रहा है, और जर्नलिस्ट को भी उन्होंने ऐसे प्रेजेंट कर रखा है कि अरे वो तो डर गई, वो जो महिला थी वहां पर, वो विराट कोहली की बातों से डर गई पूरी तरीके से। इस तरीके से प्रोजेक्ट कर रहे हैं। सो आई डोंट नो कि क्रिकेट, ये जो ऑस्ट्रेलियन मीडिया है, इनको या तो क्रिकेटिंग स्टोरीज नहीं मिल रही है जो कि भरी पड़ी हैं। मैं तो कह रहा हूं हमसे पूछ लो, हम बता देंगे, हम मदद करने के लिए तैयार है। अगर तुम्हें नहीं समझ में आ रहा है कि भाई आज प्रैक्टिस हुई, क्या हुआ क्या नहीं हुआ, रोहित शर्मा पे बात कर सकते हो, विराट पे बात कर सकते हो, बहुत सारी चीजें हैं क्रिकेट पर बात करने के लिए। बट ये बुनियादा हमारे यहाँ 15 साल पहले होती थी ऐसी जर्नलिज्म। कुछ चैनल्स करते थे कि दिल्ली में बर्फ गिर गई, और फिर लास्ट में क्लाइमेक्स उसका ये होता था कि कोई साइकिल के पीछे कैरियर में रख के ना वो बर्फ की सिल्ली ले जा रहा होता था, और उससे बर्फ गिर जाती थी, और पूरा आधे घंटे का शो इस पे बनता था कि दिल्ली में बर्फ गिरी।
Yeah,
ये शोज
Devashish, what Rohit and Shubhayan are telling me, this is below the belt journalism. And as I said, I spoke to the Indian media manager for 15 minutes, and he was disappointed, frustrated, saying, "What is going on?" I tried to explain to them three things. One, this was meant for the traveling Indian journalists, and even they did not have a chance to ask questions. Shubhayan, for example, wanted to ask, did not get a chance to ask. Sandipan did not get a chance to ask. So even the Indian traveling media did not get a chance to ask. It was meant for them because they need stories, because a lot of them are there. They need content. If you have come here, because Max Abbott and some of the others from the MCG media group, they had put it in the Australian media thing. That's why they got to know. It was not a BCCI invite as well. And thereafter, when you are being told that, look, the team bus is going, that's why we had to leave. It's not as if Jadeja did not want to answer in English. If somebody, for example, if I was there, I would have asked a question in English. Jadeja would have answered in English. Simple as that. Why are you making an issue out of it? You are filming it and you're putting it out in your news saying, hello, we'll look at it. India has lost the plot. The Indian media manager has lost the plot. What on earth is going on? Devashish Sen, question is, where does Australia get from this? What was Australia get from this? Is this a sign of desperation on the part of the Australians? Because they are still 1-1. They have not been able to beat India. They know their team is under pressure. Devashish Sen.
Yeah, obviously, if you could recollect, if you follow England Cricket Board, they always make it a point to entertain their media. Nowhere in England, if there is a press conference that has been allotted, nowhere the traveling media will be entertained, because there's always a press conference followed by a session with the local media, the print media journalist. And in this case, what I feel that the mistake that was made by, why would you entertain a media guy is whichever channel he is from. She shouldn't have been entertained at that press conference area if she is not accredited. Why on earth do you allow that media to be in that press conference? It's not about being generous. It's simple. It's simple. You cover cricket in England. You cover cricket in Australia. If you are not accredited, you are not allowed. I wonder if an Indian media without an accreditation will be allowed. I don't know. Means obviously this has not been the norm. Having covered cricket worldwide, I know. Means obviously ECB is very punctual in this. I don't know. Means the same Australian cricket Australia has been very strict, but this series it has already means we have seen there have been number of instances where cricket Australia has gone all wrong, and this is one more instance. And why on earth would you share a message that has been shared on a BCCI group to Australian group? Obviously, the role of the Australian media manager is also to be questioned. It's a message that has been circulated in Indian media group, traveling Indian media group. Why was it circulated in Australian media group? And that too, a journalist who is not accredited is entertained to attend that press conference. So I think there is a I think the mistake done by the BCCI media manager was to he should have stopped that lady from entertaining the attending the media conference.
You can't take advantage of goodness. You can't take advantage of goodness and make a nuisance out of it. That's what happened. Let me put this in context.
No,
I have been
the
living in
Australia representative was
yeah, go on.
when a representative was there, he should have ideally objected because he is in charge of that area. Individual had no role in stopping. Even it was cricket representative, media representative who was present there. He should have stopped anyone who had not. I don't know whether he is accredited, but he has that card with him. If he does not have a card with him, then he has no right to be there if it's an official press conference.
Your internet is acting up. You need to get to a better internet zone. Your internet is not great. Can't hear you proper. Okay, so the point here is very simple. Three things. One, Australian media at that point in time said this is a public place. Yes, it is a public place, the airport, for sure. Virat Kohli has not told you don't cover me. But he's saying don't cover my children. Where does the public end? Where does the private begin? There is something called ethics. There is something called ethicality in the English dictionary. I hope you've heard of the word ethicality, where you have to stop. And don't tell me you don't know. In Australia, where the market is sensitive, and all of us know, by the way, I've lived and taught in that country for multi-years, and I know what we are talking about. You mean to say you're entitled to doing anything and everything in a public airport? Is it? Then one can just walk into immigration and go into any zone and say, oh, hello, this is a public place, I'm allowed. What are you talking about? What are you then you don't have any barriers out there. Virat Kohli is saying, don't film my children. That is a basic courtesy. That's what it is. Simple as that. Today, you are saying Ravindra Jadeja did not speak in English. Go and check the host city agreement between the boards, the two boards, the bilateral agreement. Where is it stated that an Indian player has to answer a press conference in English? Which agreement states that an Indian player will have to address a press conference in English? Two hoots with it. We will not address a press conference in English. Simple as that. Tomorrow, Akashdeep Singh, I'm telling you now, Akashdeep Singh will address the press tomorrow. He will not answer in English. Mark my words. On the 24th, the Indian head coach or the captain will ask, we will all request, don't answer in English. What will you do? Nothing. You can do shit. That's what you can do. Tomorrow, Akashdeep will not answer in English. Go to hell. He will answer in Hindi. When the Australians come to India, do they answer in Hindi? Do they learn Hindi and answer? This instrument of class oppression was used 20 years back. When and I remember 2008, Devashish, you will remember, they had pushed an Aaj Tak journalist. You remember what had happened. All this nonsense will stop. Don't try to act funny. There are people like Bharat Sundarasan. There are people who are sensitive journalists, sensible journalists, who are doing sensible journalism. And then there are rogues who are the equivalent. There are many in India also. But these are simple jerks. By saying Ravindra Jadeja did not answer in English, what are you trying to say? Will Leo Messi Whenever Leo Messi travels to some part of the world, will you ask him not to answer in Spanish and answer in English? Do you have the audacity to do that? Do you have the audacity to tell an athlete who doesn't understand your language from China that come speak in English? Will you tell a Chinese athlete to do that? No, because you don't have the audacity, because China invests so much money in your country. That is where the money is coming from. Come on, yeah. Come on. So this hypocrisy or double standards that we are seeing from the Australian media, Shomik Chakraborty, is stinking now. It is stinking. You want to make this series a problem series? No problem. We from the Indian media are more than happy to take you on. But for God's sake, I hope they relent and stop this nonsense before this series goes out of control. Shomik, before I go to Gargi.
They will not, and this has been the trend set for the Australian media. I mean, they has been doing it for donkey's years now, and I mean, let alone the TV reporters, even the print media, the venerable publication. I was reading a piece from Andrew Yu uh, during the Brisbane Test, and when the Indian players celebrated in the dressing room after avoiding the follow-on, and Andrew Yu wrote that Australia will now feel that they have the measure of the opponents now. Looking at that, so my simple question is, what the fabled Australian team of Ricky Ponting, Matthew Hayden, and all did at Old Trafford during 2005 Ashes, when they saved the game by the skin of their teeth. They went into a no holds barred celebration. And mind, that team had the likes of Glenn McGrath, Shane Warne, Matty Hayden, Ricky Ponting, the all-time greats of the game. And they went into a no holds barred celebration. And this they have been doing. See, earlier what it used to be like, there was a concept called mental disintegration that was introduced by Steve Waugh. They used to do that to the opponents on the field. Now, because of the IPL, the relationship between the players and the two teams are friendly, more or less, by and large. There would be the odd incidents like Siraj and Travis Head, but by and large, it is friendly. But the Australian media has always been the 12th man. And I totally agree with Debashish in the sense, in at ECB, what do you see? When they have a press conference, I mean, exclusively for the British media, they don't allow us. After the press conference, Danny shares the link on the common WhatsApp group, right? Danny shares the link on the common WhatsApp group, but they don't allow us. Same with Australian media. This is since the time of Brian Murgatroyd, when he was the media manager of the Australian team. I mean, I would suggest to Maulin, and he's a very nice boy. I would send him a text saying that, Maulin, please learn from your, I mean, quote unquote mistakes, and don't indulge them. Don't allow them when it is meant for the Indian media, whether they are the accredited media or not. If it is meant for the Indian media, it should be meant for the Indian media. And as you said, very rightly, going ahead, I would like to see everyone in the Indian team addressing the media in Hindi.
Where do you stand on this? I mean, how is it? And you want to speak in English? We know how to speak in English as well. So it's not as if we don't know. And we know English and many other languages. We know the choicest of words. You are using words like annoyed. You are using words like whatever. I was listening to that little clip. You are showing your disrespect. You are showing your impatience. Trust you me, we can show twice more. We can show twice more, thrice more. We are very well capable of that. Where do you stand on this, Gargi?
I mean, if the Australian media is going to be so fixated on language, and especially English language, do they not understand the meaning of exclusive press conference for traveling Indian journalists? I think that's your answer. If it was an exclusive press conference for Indian traveling journalists, then why were the Australian journalists there? In the first place, they invited themselves, and then started being privileged, or whatever you want to call it. But this is clearly very, very sensationalist, very sensationalist take from the Australian media. And honestly, when you think about it, when you think of the whole situation from what happened with Virat Kohli, turn the tables and let's see how the Australian media reacts if that was a Pat Cummins or a Josh Hazelwood in place of Virat Kohli, how would the Australian media react? They would lose their mind that, the Indian media doesn't have ethics and this and that.
Shubhan, from tomorrow, once Akashdeep and whoever comes, let the Indians speak in Hindi, and let the Australians get a translator. Let all these media houses get a translator if you want to get.
Akashdeep does not even he's not fluent in English anyway, so he's going to answer all in Hindi.
That's what I'm telling you. I had a chat. I'm telling you from now. So he will answer in
I
Hindi,
want to ask a question in Bengali. I want to ask him a question in Bengali.
Ask him in any language you want, and let the
I want
Australians
Morne
come and
Mokal to speak
translate. How
Hindi.
does it
I want
matter?
Morne Mokal to
You
give a
want
press
to come and
conference
make
in
money
Hindi.
You attend the Bangladesh press conference. 90% of the questions
Yes,
are asked in
absolutely.
Bangla. Whoever has covered Bangladesh,
Sri Lanka.
whoever has covered Sri Lanka,
is Sinhala.
Sinhala. Questions are asked in Sinhala. It's towards the end of the press conference. Press conference, I'm saying.
Right.
I'm not saying an unofficial or official. Proper
Devashish,
press conference.
Pakistan also.
Let me finish. Proper press conferences, first the questions are asked in Sinhala. Then, if they have time, then they give the questions to be asked in English. So clearly, if you attend the Bangladesh press conference, the priority has been to entertain the local media, the country's media first. Then, if there is any questions and if there is any spare time, they allow the overseas media to ask questions in English. So that
Okay.
has been the norm
I
for
don't know
every
about
cricket
others.
board.
I don't know about others, Devashishda, but I am going to ask all my questions minus Morne Morkel and Rant and Deshkate in Hindi. From now on, all my questions will be in Hindi.
Arey bhai, 100% you must, because the point is simple. Go get a translator, pay that translator. That translator will have to be an Indian. Spend some money. Your Australian media outlets, whether you're a Channel 7 or a Channel 9, go spend some money and get a translator. When your people come to India, they have drawls. Think about accents. Half the Indian people don't even understand that accent. We are not even ready to. Why should we? We have to translate. You are not coming and helping us out. So why should there be a case of double standards? There should be absolutely no case of double standards on this one. You don't want to take our media, our players and their comments, your problem, not ours. You don't want to get a translator, your problem, not ours. Simple as that. But tell me, Rohit Jublan, 1 minute each to all of you. Yes, Shomik, I'm coming to you. Will this get the Indians fired up even more? First, you take Panga with Kohli. Now you are going after Jadeja. Tomorrow you will go after Rohit Sharma. Every day you are picking on an Indian player, while the Indians have been extremely respectful of every Australian cricketer. Will this fire the Indians up, Rohit Jublan?
Obviously, it should, Buryada, because I remember that particular press conference where Shubman Gill was there, and Shubman Gill gave them back. And while at that similar press conference, there was a journalist, and he asked the same question, that why not Rohit Sharma is here. And I don't know that where it's written that match day -1 it will be captain, and he give it back and completely give it back that I am here and he's completely fit, and it's not necessary for him to come here and do the match day -1 press conference. It's written nowhere in any book. It's written that match day -1 it will be captain. So I think Indians will be fired up. And yes, I really want to ask this, that whether if Gambhir attends the press conference or a Rohit Sharma, that are you guys standing with your media manager? Are you guys standing with your are you guys standing with Ravindra Jadeja and the kind of and with Virat Kohli also? Because what they started with their voiceover, that Australian bowlers are getting into the skin of Virat Kohli. The series is 1-1 level. Virat already scored 100 in the very first match, and you are saying that we are getting into the skin of Virat Kohli? Means how you are getting into the skin of Virat Kohli? If Smith has scored 100, Kohli has scored 100. If Australia had won a match, India has won a match. 295 runs with a margin of 295. Obviously, you won with a 10-wicket victory. They won 295 runs. So why the hell they are talking about getting into the skin, and why they are not, again, that was a pure lie, in that article of Channel 7, that Jadeja didn't answer to that question, something like that they've written. They haven't got the opportunity to ask anything from the journalists. And as we are rightly said, that in Border Gavaskar Trophy, when these similar Australian journalists were traveling to India, there were multiple sessions with Australian journalists and Australian player. There were multiple sessions in India, and Indian journalists got to know this way later, that there was a press conference.
One second, hold on. Even 2 days back, when they took Pat Cummins and Josh Hazelwood to go and train in Brisbane, they whisked him in a car. Which Indian media did they inform that we are taking our players to bowl in a different net for whatever reason?
even
Did they
even
inform the
even the
Indian media?
curator, even in Perth,
And
the curators bite, they haven't responded to any of the media queries. They haven't told the media that there is a pitch curator thing happening on, going on, and you have to come and cover it. After that, when obviously including Shubhanda, when the Indian journalist said to them that you need to inform this to us that there is a curator's press conference, he'll address a press conference, then they send that video clip of it, that yes, this is what had happened. They haven't told it to Indian media at that point of time. So there were multiple things which had happened from Perth Test to Melbourne, where either Cricket Australia, where either some of their participants, you take the food thing, Shubhanda tweeted about it on the Perth, that how they are treating Indian media. They even don't have a courtesy to put a bottle
we
of
are
water,
we are
just a bottle of water.
yes, exactly. We are covering a practice session and a bottle of water is not available. So imagine the plight.
No,
And
this is
if the
this is
same thing
getting
is
a
done
big.
by the
This is
BCCI, you can get all the articles about it, that what a pathetic, system and all this. And even the Indian journalists were writing about it, that, can we give a better service? But here, they don't take it, that yes, we have to do at least a bottle. Forget about the breakfast and all the other things, the fruits and all the other things. At least a bottle of water when it's 40 degrees Celsius, 35 degrees Celsius, 32 degrees
not
Celsius.
new, not new. Rohit, I will tell you this. This is not new. 2008 Monkey Gate hearing till 2:30 a.m. in the morning. The hearing, sorry, 2:15 a.m. in the morning. The hearing continued. There were 20 of us. Devashish will remember. We had bought one packet of chips, and each one of us had one piece. That is what we had. There was no water for the players. There was no water for the waiting media. The hearing lasted till 2 a.m. and even the shops were closed, by the way. Otherwise, I would have bought food for everybody. The shops were also closed. So that is the state of affairs. But the point that
And
I'm
and
asking,
and Boryada, the hypocrisy of Australian media when they want to attract the money, when they want to attract the sponsors, the people to come and watch the stadium, what they do, they put a different segment. They put an entire commentary panel in Hindi. I'm talking about Channel 7. They have a separate segment, a
that
commentary
is
segment
what
during live matches in Hindi. And in print media,
And they are
we saw
selling it.
Punjabi language, Hindi language being splashed, and
They are selling
selling
it
it.
by saying, Mr. Gavaskar. They are selling it by saying, Mr. Gavaskar, that it's free. Do it in Hindi. Translate it in Hindi and do it in Hindi. This shows the double standard of this Australian media, the
no.
broadcasters, that how they are doing it.
So Channel 7, if you are listening, I'm sure somebody will. If you are listening, explain to us question number one. Why did you have to have an exclusive Hindi and Urdu feed? Clearly, you don't understand. Why are you having it on your platform? You should have only an English feed because Jadeja answered in Hindi. You don't get that language, so don't have it. Number two, the Australian newspapers had advertisements in Hindi. Why you want to target Indian money? More Indian diaspora,
Punjabi
more
also. Punjabi also.
Punjabi also. So more Indian money needs to come to your coffers because you have an economic problem, is it? That is the issue with your media houses, is it? And that is why you can't travel big numbers to India to cover. So now that the Indian team has come to your shores, you want to milk this series to the tea so that you can get some Christmas gifts for your people. Come on, boss. Shomik Chakraborty, this media double standards has to stop. The Indian media manager should be urged to go do all press conferences, whether it's tomorrow, whether it's Gautam, whether it's anyone, that we will now do Hindi. Now go to hell.
Absolutely. And once again, Shubhan, never mind that not having the bottle of water. It has always been like that in Australia. Mane Kaka used to bring the bottle of water for us. Mane Kaka, yeah, Devashish is also smiling. Mane Kaka used to bring the bottles of water for us. It has been always like that in Australia. Double standard, the entire thing reeks of double standards in the sense. You are putting out advertisement in Hindi, Punjabi. You are trying to capture the Indian audience, and this Indian tour will bankroll you for the next 2 years. As far as Cricket Australia is concerned, you will get money from this tour, and that will bankroll you for the next 2 years. And this is how you have been behaving. I mean, have some decency. That's it. Have some decency. I don't want to use what Ian Botham told Australian Prime Minister Paul Keating during the 1992 World Cup, but I think Ian Botham and Graham Gooch always treated them the way they deserved.
Absolutely correct. I mean, one has to say this. And Debashish, you will
And
also know that
and just I just like to add something. If you look at mm, Australian media or English media, they would hardly attend the India press conference. Most of the journalists, they would after their own press conference they would leave, and that's a mark of disrespect. When there's a press, yes, it is not mandatory for Australian media to attend the India press conference. No one is telling them to do so. Means you see most of the English reporters or Australian reporters, they won't attend an India press conference because they once their press conference is over, at least one or two or a few more will be there, but most of them will go and file their reports. But so that to me is clearly a disrespect. Means when a tour is happening, when a overseas team's representative is attending a press conference, it's a minimum courtesy to attend the press conference.
Okay, so here it is. David Warner will greet every Indian on every celebration day, will dance to the tune of Pushpa. His children will, his family will. So here is one example of an Australian cricketer who wants to appropriate Indian culture and respect it. And on the other side, take a Brett Lee, take a David Warner, take a Michael Clark. These are also examples of Australian cricketers who know what it is. And that is why they are much loved. And ask David Warner, he will also tell you that over the years I've learned to appreciate and understand and celebrate Indian culture, and now India is my second home. And that is why his children are so much loved, his wife is loved, he is loved, and that is one example. And on the other side are these rogue journalists who think that, oh, what we have the entitlement. Where this entitlement is coming from, God alone knows. We have the entitlement to making an Indian cricketer, even if he doesn't want to answer in English. Frankly, you did not even have the opportunity, as Rohit Juglan said. And even if you do, the best thing would be you ask your question in English and the answer will be given in Hindi. Now go translate. Go to hell. You will be allowed to ask your question. That is your entitlement. But the player is very much within his rights to answer in Hindi, and that is what he should be told. That answer in Hindi or in Tamil or in Bangla, whatever language you want. If the Australian media wants to translate, it's their problem. Simple as that. We've seen these tricks for far too long. You target Virat Kohli, you target his family. Now you target Jadeja. Tomorrow you will target Bumrah. You want to rile the Indians up ahead of Boxing Day. You want to get under their skin so that they lose the plot and make a mistake. You targeted Siraj with continuous boos. You have been targeting Siraj. It is bordering on racism. Where are you getting? Has there been one protest from the Australian media about the treatment that has been meted out to Siraj? Not one. Not one. If there was something similar done to one of your cricketers, our media would stand up and say, no, not done. This should not happen. But what about the Australians? Have we seen them even raise a voice of protest? We haven't. And I saw all the reports over the last 2 hours. Pathetic reporting from Channel 9 and Channel 7. Shomik Chakraborty, 1 minute to you, and then I'll close the show because we have to leave for the airport in a little bit. Also, Shomik, tell us about the Champions Trophy. We know more or less the schedule now. 23rd is India-Pakistan, almost done. 9th March final, it's done in a neutral venue. 5th March is the semi-final. When is the schedule likely to come out?
I think, latest by tomorrow it will come out. If not tonight itself, it can come out. It can come out any moment. I think that the final, as far as the neutral venue is concerned, the final touches remain whether Dubai is a clear front runner. Although Pakistan Cricket Board prefers Colombo, but Dubai is a clear front runner, and I think it will be. It will not go to next week. Simple as that. Very likely it would be tonight. If not tonight, then tomorrow. And going back to Australian cricket journalism, In my experience, and also you will attest. I mean, fairness is at a premium. You can count in your hands people like Richie Beno, Gideon Hay, Peter Roebuck. They were a bit. They were exceptions. They were exceptions, but overall, it has been like that. I mean, it has been continuing for, as I said, for donkeys years now. And you are absolutely right on the money when you said, when you preempted that their next target would be Jasprit Bumrah.
Has to be. Has to be Jasprit Bumrah. I'm telling you now, it will be Bumrah and his family. Bumrah will say, please don't, and they will target because they know this man is the one who is beating us. He's taken Nathan McSweeney out. He will take Usman Khwaja out. He is the nemesis in chief, and he is the next target. I can tell you from now, Jasprit Bumrah will be targeted. Rohit Juglan, I will give you the last words before I close with Gargi. Tell me, so where is this headed? This series is gradually snowballing into what I had seen in 2008. And I love it, by the way. All of us will be there from tomorrow. And this is no problem. We have no problems in dealing with the Australian media. Rohit Jugla.
Absolutely, Buryada. The way they approached, the way they have shown their double standards, the way show their contradictory, the way they contradicted, what they are saying, what they are providing, beat their media, beat the way, Cricket Australia operating at this point of time. I think there were multiple things going on other directions. As I said, that it's about the water, it's about the food, it's about the basic vegetarian food, it's about their team, and it's about their journalists also, who are means just not reporting what actually happening. If there is a normal conversation between Virat Kohli and a journalist, they were just hyping it, they were just giving it some other tone. And as I mentioned earlier, this happened in India also, but 15 years ago, 10 years ago, where media has to, these kind of sensational journalism. But these kind of reputed channels, big names in, at least in Australia, if they are doing these kind of third class stuff, these are daily soap stuff. Means what we saw in the Ekta Kapoor serials, the way they are just piling up things that this happened, that happened, and nothing has been happened. Be it today's press conference, there was nothing to be reported about. They themselves said that we haven't recorded anything. No, we are not going to air anything. That lady himself said, and after that she was doing a piece to camera just outside the stadium. That tells you, the real face of these Aussie journalists, who in your face, try to be very sophisticated. Their behavior wise really good. They talk cricket, but just when you show them your back, they just do these kind of stuff what we are witnessing right now. So haven't thought that we'll, on our very first tour, we'll see all of this, the kind of reporting they are doing, the kind of stories they are doing. And I'm still most welcome to all of them who want any cricketing story ideas. We can share the cricketing stories ideas if you want to discuss cricket stories. And we are doing cricket stories. We are not providing anything else from here in Australia from last 1 month. We are only doing cricket reportings. We are not doing
Okay.
anything else. We are not
So,
not
Devashish, where
covering
is this
anyone's
going?
son.
Where is this going? Is this going to get more and more heated now?
I think it will surely be,
See,
because
uh, see,
I think if anything we
there are some good people as well so someone like a Cole Hitchcock. He has been very accommodative, help giving opportunities to Indian media to answer to question their players. So I don't outrightly say that Cricket Australia has been very rude or harsh on Indian media. Then and someone like a Cole Hitchcock, who has been with the Cricket Australia for 1 decade, more than a decade, he has been very accommodative as far as whenever there's a press conference. Because I have seen the foreign media, overseas media, who have been very, I won't use the term, but they have not allowed the Indian media to ask questions in a press conference. Simply outrightly rejected. So I think yes, there are good people, there are bad people. That happens with everywhere. So I think hopefully good sense will prevail, and channels like Channel 7 and Channel 9 will be more responsible journalism, because this series is nicely built up. with 1-all, boxing the test match, much to look forward to, full house on day one. So yes, if they start doing like this, obviously we Indians are not to be paid back. We can also give it back. Yes, I would say that common sense prevails.
Let us differentiate one thing here and say it clearly. Cricket Australia has not done anything which is disrespectful. Channel 9 and
Never.
Channel 7 do not speak for Cricket Australia. Pat Henning, Cole Hitchcock, some of these guys who are handling media have been perfectly good professionals doing their job to the best of their ability. Absolutely no worries. That is why the BCCI and Cricket Australia are on great terms. Where things are going south is because some media outlets like a Channel 9 or a Channel 7 have resorted to reporting falsehood. They are resorting to reporting falsehood and resorting to unethical practice, which is where things are going south. And that is where things are becoming problematic and heated and unpleasant. And that's where things need to get back on track. Hopefully, good sense will prevail. I give you the last words, Gargi Rao.
I agree with everyone when they say, let's just focus on cricket. Let's just focus on the cricketing action, because the series is set up beautifully, and it's going to be a very exciting test match. But on a lighter note, when you think about this, when you think about the whole situation, it was blown out of proportion over nothing. If the Australian media did not ask the question, how do they expect Ravindra Jadeja to answer in English when Indian journalists were asking the questions in Hindi? So in the next press conference, I can go and say that nobody answered in Spanish. Does that make any sense? Because I didn't ask in Spanish. So how can they blow this out of proportion? Let's just focus on the cricket. All I want to say.
So we'll end there. We'll end there with telling you guys that Rohit, Devashish, and Shubhan will be joined by 5 of us: Gargi, myself, Krisha, Ogni, and Mishta from tomorrow. So while we do our evening show tomorrow in Melbourne, hopefully this show, 5 o'clock India, it will be all of us, 8-9 of us from Melbourne for the first time. No Indian media house has tried this. So we are all flying out Singapore Airlines tonight. Look forward to catching up with our colleagues in Melbourne and doing the rest of the series together, while our colleagues in India will be holding the back end and reporting from here as well. So comprehensive coverage, disruptive coverage, holistic coverage of the Border Gavaskar Trophy on RevSportz. As we said, we are not going to back down when people make these false allegations against the Indians. Just like we will not do anything sensationalist, we are not going to back down and continue to doing objective reporting, rational reporting, and to take from Rohit, cricket reporting, because that is what is the need of the hour. On that note, folks, Champions Trophy scheduled soon. You will have Shomik's copy on that. For the moment, Devashish, Rohit, Shomik, Shubha, and Gargi, to everyone watching, thank you very much for joining us. Do subscribe, do support, and continue to watch our coverage.
Safe flight, happy journey.